We bonded over tea. I want you to know, T-Pev, that I have been on an absolute rip of drinking tea in real life because of your character. Lemon, mint,
the
chai,
Josh,
taro.
the Josh greedy businessman meme of Tarkog and all the tea
Yeah.
and fucking.
Okay. To the rest of the party, you guys are falling asleep, or rather have fallen asleep. Well, I guess if you're a bunny, and you're not very good at taking orders, you have immediately fallen asleep once again after failing your spot check critically.
I plead the fifth.
That killed me.
As Raynor runs into the hollow up ahead. Strange plant life abounds around it, as he took the time to stop and smell the flowers, or rather feel the flowers and the strange kind of jelly-like texture they had as you reached out and grabbed the purpley ones. Wherein you enter the hollow. And as you enter the hollow, you can see that kind of strange, trail of the fireflies behind you fade into darkness behind. Not so much that it is, well, uncomfortably dim, but enough that it makes you pause and let your eyes adjust as you try to look deeper inside the hollow, maybe only 10 feet inside or so. I could throw like a bajillion reference art at you, but I'm just going to use the power of word.
I'm listening. I'm ready. Terrified.
As your eyes adjust, you look around. The hollow seems to be, well, of wood, thankfully, and that strange blue light is only from the flowers being cast around it. The rest of the tree, as you can see, is that same dull grayish-brown color as the rest of the Cloudspire forest, those being the tall redwoods. However, as you look up, you can see that this is probably carved into this, or maybe it's just an immense hollow, like you thought. The kinds of hollows that owls or small rodents might crawl into. And so it leads deeper in. Much deeper in than you were anticipating, actually, as it looks like the ramp down further into the base of the tree is extending another 30 feet in front of you. You don't recall the tree looking this big from the outside. Until your eyes adjust and you look further in. The area ahead seems to be bathed in pale moonlight, untainted by those flowers' glow. However, you can see the ground ahead is dampened. It's a mixture of wood and soil. The way behind you is still the same, still with fireflies in that blue and enticing purple glow. And the way ahead is deeper into this tree. Do you wish to progress?
Yes.
You trudge down through, going from the hard wooden surface into something more clammy, as the soft soil squishes underneath your feet. Looking around here, it's still very dim compared to the outside. However, somewhere seems to be moon being let in, or at least you think it looks like moonlight. You should be inside of a tree, you're not sure where it'd be coming from. And as you look around for the apparent source of the moonlight, you can see on the outskirts of this, well, across the room, across the tree. Once again, this seems enormous from the inside, as you can barely strain out under low light conditions, how far away that the walls are, kind of just dim shadows cast around. And to your knowledge, trees aren't supposed to be like hollow like this. You put your hand on a nearby wall and try to get your bearings. Your human vision, not being adept at low light, is clearly a hindrance here. You can see about 30 feet in front of you clearly, and then out to 60 feet you can make out just the shape and forms of shadows. Looking around, you can tell that there is water draining to somewhere, because it gets more damp as you get closer and closer to the middle. And on the edges of the tree, basically around the perimeter, you can see those faint glows of flowers, but still no apparent sight of where the moonlight's flowing in from. Normally if you look up, you'd expect to see a moon, streaming down this light, but the whole thing just kind of seems to be cast in a pale shade. Nothing seems to have come up to you yet, which is a good sign. Would you like to claw around in the dark a bit and try to get your bearings of this large, hollow tree?
Yes, I'd like to... I don't know if there's anything I can do to see better or what, but I'd like to inspect around.
You can light a glowstone torch if you would like. You have torches in your inventory.
I would like to do that.
Yeah. Straining your eyes for a moment, you break the the kind of tense, quiet moonlight by deciding that you are going to navigate by glowstone instead. As you grab your glowstone torch, which is force reactive, that is, it takes in sunlight during the day, and you strike it on something at night, and it releases that sunlight again. And with one light tap against the tree, it doesn't catch for some reason. Before you flip it over and catch it again, tap it again, only for it to let out a rather dim stream for a moment, which seems to gradually build. That is unusual.
You said it let out a dim what?
Lets out a dim stream of light, which seems to gradually build.
Okay.
Which is unusual. Most of the time, it's, clap on, clap off. As you're sitting here waiting for the light to come into force and looking around, slowly getting more and more details as it comes into view. Straining your eyes, you look. The ground beneath you is pelted, or rather felted, with a thin layer of some kind of light bluish grass. Although it's clearly in very boggy soil, as you'd notice by the sloshing around of your boots. What's more, you can definitely see up ahead, just by the pale reflection off of your torch, that there is indeed a pool of water over there. And what's more, as your eyes adjust more and, well, your torch starts illuminating more, you can see what appears to be a small ramp on the outside of the perimeter of the tree, basically circular, leading up somewhere. And as you are looking around more and more, you could swear that you see movement just in the very edges of your vision. Do you have any spot?
I do. I have 5?
You may attempt a spot.
I have 5, yep. Okay.
Wait, you didn't juice that when you leveled?
No.
Like at all?
Nope.
Oh boy. Okay.
We have a couple of spot maxers already, so it's a little bit...
Yeah, me included.
Well,
But still.
I figured this would be the anti-meta thing to do. So I was like, what are some cool things I can put points into?
Yeah.
Cameron
So
just
I have
suddenly double
dungeoneering
specializes in Druidic for his what is it?
Yeah, that could you imagine? Like, yeah, I don't know if I told you, Josh, but my obsession and the
all
with
of
my
a sudden
books is
right
all
now.
about Druidic. Oh, and Wood Elf, and for some reason. So I can read that weird book you gave me just fine now.
But yes, like I was saying, with your spot check, you can clearly see that, through the boggy soil, there's water draining to a lake or small pond up ahead, which you can see just barely off of reflections. So it's more like you can see something. You can see the water kind of diffracting the light more than you can actually make out clear details like the pond. Have you ever had a flashlight and looked? You've just explored a lake with a flashlight, right? You can see that it kind of skips across it. And even if you can't make out clear details of the shoreline, kind of that vibe. And the more important detail, when you're looking around at those shapes that you think are moving, you can see what appears to be small things, small creatures, moving back away from you, hiding amongst these bushes. And wait a second, those aren't. You kind of strain your eyes again as you stare, and you notice once again that scale isn't what you think it is. Those creatures are not moving away, they're shrinking as you're staring at them.
Can I do some sort of what's the roll? Sorry. It's like a spellcraft checker or something? Just noticing them shrink.
Yeah, so you can try to identify if this is a spell they're using to shrink.
Yeah, okay. So 1d20 plus 22.
You recognize this as a form of a glamour, something that is specific to Fae. And it ought to be mostly aesthetic, although maybe in a place like this it could be more real. You know that's kind of a touchy area of what can Fae do? The answer is yes, but...
Okay, I want to try to communicate with them. can I kind of think out loud and say, "Oh, it's a glamour," and then gauge the reaction and take a second, and then say, I don't mean to wander in if you guys don't want me here. I just noticed this and was curious, so I wanted to investigate it. I should have started with this, but I don't mean you any harm. And I want to gently reach my hand out as a friendly gesture.
You reach your hand out and wait there for a moment to see what will happen, unsure if they can understand you or if they'll trust you. And just when you feel like you're a fool for crouching down and reaching out a hand, something brighter catches your eye for a moment. Also, to reiterate, your sunstone torch doesn't seem to be as effective in here for some reason. Although it's definitely more effective than the moonlight. It's more effective than nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
As you're sitting there for a moment, just reaching your hand out and starting to feel like you're a little bit foolish. Something catches out of the corner of your eye, again using the same spot check. As you look off the other way and see one of the fireflies has slowly wandered in. Off of that, 30-foot or so entrance into this burrow. And as you're holding your hand out, you can see it slowly approach and land for a moment, before the firefly would, slowly reverberate, turning on, then off. Question, do you guys say firefly or lightning bug?
I say lightning bug, but I know what a firefly is, so that's
interchangeable.
Yeah, interchangeable.
I like firefly better because it's more, it sounds better, but lightning bug is what I normally say in real life.
Yeah, lightning bug is usually what we use, I think.
Firefly definitely sounds more fantastical.
Lightning bug sounds like it's an elemental. Firefly sounds like it's fey.
Yeah, I'd maybe even use them like that. I don't know. Anyways.
Yep. One lands in your hand, before, again, illuminating and then deilluminating, before its wings would spread as if to take off again. Only for it to change into the shape of a moth? Its gossamer silhouetted wings, reflecting your sunstone torch quite a bit, before the moth would fly off further into the center of the room.
And where am I in the room? I'm sorry.
You're on the edge of the room still. You basically got to the edge of the room and you were putting your hand across the inside of the trunk. And you're like, man, this is dark. Oh wait, I have torches. I have technology. You struck the trunk with your light and you started trudging around and you noticed the movement. You called out. You're still kind of basically on the edge of the trunk near the entrance to the burrow. And as you called out, after 20 or 30 seconds, lightning bug landed in your hand, transformed into a moth, and started flying off towards the middle of the room.
Okay,
all this has taken place over the course of about 5 minutes in character, thereabouts.
Okay, I would like to say, oh, that's cool, and walk towards the middle of the room to follow it.
You follow the thing towards the middle of the room, and as you do so, the ground underneath you becomes more and more boggy, more wet. And your sunstone torch seemingly gets dimmer and dimmer, but thankfully at a certain point, it seems that the moonlight around it is somehow getting brighter and brighter, again, despite no apparent source of such, soft light.
Okay,
until you get to the point where your sunstone torch is basically doing nothing, so may as well sheath it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, then maybe I'll put it away.
Before you find yourself on the edge of something, where moonlight is there, but also small fireflies again? No, these aren't fireflies. These are... You try to focus your attention on these strange orangish-red dots, if you haven't figured it out. So I'll put your character wherever you want.
Yep.
As you focus on them, but they seem to be maneuvering in ways that aren't like bugs, more like points of light. A different manner of creature.
Accurate, you said wherever I want, right?
Different manner of magical creature.
Right here.
Yeah, you walk right into all the magical creatures without identifying them.
Can I do like a lore or arcana check or
You have a
something?
magic
Or,
creatures
arcana
check.
check. Yeah. Okay. Good. Zach just commented on it. So do I get any bonuses or is it just the flat 10?
You get to double your flat 10.
Ooh. 38.
Those are sprites. Small ones, young ones it seems. But they're darting around and they don't really seem to have developed a sense of thought. And generally when there's sprites this young, there's some kind of nursery nearby. Before it kind of dawns on you rather quickly, you may have stumbled into a druidic grove, as if it wasn't obvious enough before.
Yeah.
What's more, given the moonlight and all of these motifs, probably of the lunar variety.
So out of character and I assume in character, I don't know what I don't know if I would know if that's a bad thing or I guess I would still use this opportunity to kind of like look around. Can I pull like a journal out and take some notes on them?
Yeah, you get enticed by their, movings and goings abouts and their brilliance, which is a common thing for sprites. Thankfully not pixies. Last time we had pixies, we had bad things happen.
Aren't those the ones that turn Than into a girl?
Yeah, and made Jake vomit rainbows. Because he just ate a bunch of pixie dust.
Oh, yes.
But yes, you start, trying to do your best to capture the brilliance of sprites. And your character, as a religious character, would probably have a decent fundamental understanding of the various world religions, Druidic is included. So if you want to know more in character, you can elect to take that. If you want to say that your character is not that proficient and just roll with it, you don't have to. It's not like you have the option to, is how you should view your skill checks and your knowledge checks.
I would like to roll with it, and then maybe at like the next opportunity to specialize, I like go into it a little bit more since I'm dealing with the petrified forest and the crazy journal dude stuff.
No, I'm talking about your skill checks. You won't have another specialty for a long time.
Oh, I mean, maybe I know a little bit from like transferring copies of books over and stuff, but
yeah, so that's what I was saying, is if you want to roll with it that your character is fairly clueless about druidism in general and like how good, bad, ugly it is to be in a lunar druid grove, you could elect to not roll
I'm
that.
definitely going to be ignorant.
Yep. Yes, as you take your journal out and under the moonlight, do your best to emulate the beauty of sprites, which
do I get to be good at drawing for free? Is that just like
you're better at drawing than like a layman, but artistry, there is a whole class of basically non-adventuring related jobs you can take. Artistry is one of them, and more or less they're only good for flavor and for making money.
Okay.
So you're very good at like doodling, like, because some of the old manuscripts, if you actually look at them like in real life for the monks, they would like draw on the margins and like make them look good. So you're really good at like borders and those sorts of small doodles, but you're not good at like full-size human portraits. So sprites, thankfully, are closer to the former rather than the latter. So you think you can get a rather faithful adaptation of them. If you ever want to have a fun rabbit hole to jump down, look up the medieval tradition of having knights fighting snails in the margins of books. It's a meme, and nobody's quite sure why the monks drew a bunch of knights fighting snails in the margins of a lot of their books.
Why is the music getting louder? That's scary.
I'm not doing it. I think it's just the song.
I don't know. Maybe I just like start. I don't know.
No, it got louder. It's just
Thank you.
It's just the progression of the song. It's not Josh ramping it up to.
I was like, I'm freaking out, man.
Song has been looping for at least 15 minutes. Cameron, is it getting loud? Speaking of that, do I have the other music ready? I do not. My music tabs are a mess.
Baron's chat.
I don't wanna.
JP, that's a really good rhino monk art.
Yes, it is.
Keep that. Keep that
This thing
for.
is incredible.
That's fucking awesome.
Where is this art? Or not art, music. Am I looking in the wrong playlist? I need at one point like to do a hard I was in the wrong playlist. A hard reset of my playlist.
Dude, I have to do that soon too. Do you know how many things there are in my for school playlist on YouTube? It's like 1,800, and most of those are not school related.
I have the issue is I've got like 5 or 6 different D&D playlists for like different moods, and some of them are like hidden versions of public ones, just so you guys don't like look ahead.
This is where I find out that Josh has a whole Cameron got too curious and died playlist.
Yep.
Do you still use your writing music playlist, Josh?
That's not mine. That's just one I favorited.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But yeah, I use it. The scariest playlist, I think, it's either Knoll or Kismodil. Those are the 2 scariest playlists. The songs that are in them. Songs you don't want to listen. You don't
I'm
want
sure
to
the
hear.
ones that trigger Austin.
Yeah, there is a playlist that says songs to make Austin nervous.
Yep.
I think that was pre-war.
A master of his craft.
There was a bunch
The
of
Wii waiting room music is on there.
Now that one's just Austin make Austin mad. This one was make Austin nervous.
You don't like the Wii waiting room music?
No,
Awesome.
everybody hates it. They hate the Wii store.
Boom, boom,
Fuck
boom,
you, Josh.
Boom, 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 boom.
It's Josh's fault.
I used it as elevator music.
Yeah,
For like certain things, they just hated it.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense for you fucking clowns to have that music as your background stuff, anyway. So
Yep.
Yes, you do your best. These sprites and such as you momentarily get distracted. And when you finish drawing them to your satisfaction, you are again momentarily distracted by, well, flowers off to your north, and oh, those are different sprites down to your south, slightly different colors. I wonder why they're all silvery. And before you see, yay, even more flowers. But really, as you are now taking a quick look around instead of being distracted by the first shiny thing that comes across your face, you notice that this boggy water has been leading into something. As you get closer and closer to it, the moonlight seems to get strongest around here. A pool with a tree within a tree in it?
that's weird.
Yeah, this whole place is weird. This is what rings alarm bells? Cameron's character for the first time since he gets in here. Man, this tree doesn't seem right.
I don't know if you want to interact with it, but before I would like to go up to the flowers to my north and then do what I just did with the sprites and then go down to the silver sprites down here and do what I just did before going towards the water.
Yeah, you take your time.
If you want to prompt me at any time, go ahead.
How to get trapped in the face speedrun. Get lost drawing.
Very fittingly, those appear to be some variety of moonflower, at least judging by their number of points and the colors. Although moonflowers are typically white and more like a lily, whereas these are got all these dedicated flower pods. Honestly, are you an herbalist? You're a scribe, right?
Yeah, I was an herbalist, so I could gather stuff for my inks and all that.
Yeah, you can just do an herbalism check on these.
Okay. Wait, what's the bonus for our professions right now?
It's, for herbalism, it'd be only a +5.
Cameron,
What's up?
check if you can make them into a tea.
If I speak to something that gives me permission to do it, I will.
These are Moon's Tear Lotus. A rather potent Tier 2 ingredient used in several druidic concoctions, as well as usable in Tier 2 charisma potions and all the Tier 2 talkie potions. You don't know if they're free for the taking. In fact, you'd wager they're probably not. But there is an absolute abundance of them. Like, what's in this room right here for the, 10 or so heads, a dozen almost. Each of these would be probably 50 gold if you just plucked them.
Ooh.
So you're talking a fat payday if you are going to start pilfering.
I am not going to do that. Just out of the fact that I think
The fact that you like all your limbs attached, I get it.
yes. Like I would be a little too nervous not knowing enough about this stuff. But also I'm extremely curious about the stuff in the middle. So if the silver sprites don't have anything special about them, I would like to start trying to wander around the water to get a better look. And then if I don't think I can, then I think I would start walking or like testing out the water to see if there's anything special about it so I can try to see what's going on with that situation.
Just so I don't forget it, and in case you do decide to pluck them, you don't forget it. Moon Blossom Lotus. Looking at the silvery sprites as you get near them, it seems that the silvery ones and the gold ones are in different stages of development. The gold ones are even younger, whereas the silvery ones seem to be at least somewhat self-aware. They don't let you get close when you are going through, so you have to like be where you're at on the map when you're painting them. The gold ones were so unaware that they were just like letting you walk, bump them around, basically.
Okay.
And again, with your magical creatures check, there's not that much different, just basic developments of these sprites. As far as you understand it, the whole deal with druidism is that a lot of these creatures are recycled. And so a sprite is basically the earliest stage of this recycling or reincarnation process for all these Fey creatures.
So these could grow up to be like a number of different creatures?
Yeah. As far as you know, most Fey start off as sprites.
Okay.
The Fey that aren't practically eternal are the ones that go through this cycle. So this is a nursery of some kind, by your best guess. Which is true for most druidic groves, as far as you've been aware, but...
Okay, so I definitely... If that's my best guess, then I don't want to fuck with anything. Because, like, messing with stuff near young is probably... like
straight
a big
ticket
offense.
To having no limbs.
Yes. And I already have a character that's missing limbs, so maybe we keep that number to 1.
It's trending towards 0.
I hope you trend towards quiet.
He doesn't mean you're going to regrow the limbs. He just means you're never going to get to play him again, so it's not your
No,
character anymore.
Brune's slowly regrowing his limb, his demonic regeneration.
Yeah, but Josh isn't going to let us play those.
But yes, you draw the flowers, and you're pretty good at that, and you start remembering like the bare bones usage of it. And with you didn't roll good enough to know much more about than it's just plain Jane uses, to get much more context on this place. But your 38 in magical creatures told you quite a bit about Fey ecology. Doesn't tell you why the other ones were avoiding you so much, although maybe if they're older than even these sprites here, they would really not want to interact with you.
Yeah, I don't think I'd make too much of it, and I don't want to bother them too much. If I was new enough to know that these were the young, once again, try not to piss off the babies, because protective mothers will take my limbs. So, are you pulling something up, Josh, or did you want me to talk?
Oh, you said you were heading towards the tree, right?
Yep, I was gonna start trying to look for a good angle to look at the tree and figure all that stuff out. I'm trying not to disturb anything too bad.
So, as you get closer to the water's edge, the texture of the terrain once again changes. Before it was very squishy, but as you come closer to the water's edge, for some reason it becomes rather foliaged. And as you get closer and closer, instead of, again, illumination's kind of weird. The closer you get, the brighter it gets. Until when you're at the water's edge, it's basically like you're standing underneath the full moon. You know, which is bright for an evening, but it's not like blindingly bright or anything. And as you watch the water surface, you are once again mesmerized by the clarity of it, that you can see all the roots underneath the tree and through the water, and also the sprites dancing along top of it. Looking at this tree, it appears to be short. Well, not near anything is going to be as tall as the tree it's within. Again, tree within tree, kind of weird. But the trunk is basically just so you can see top down. It actually does have a bough. You know, it's large for a tree, but it's not anywhere near the size of the various redwoods or redwood-sized trees around here that you've seen in real life for the last, not in real life, in the game for the last 2 days of travel.
Mm-hmm.
This one's standing merely 40 feet tall and maybe 15 foot across. So a large tree by most standards, but given your recent history, it's not terribly impressive for stature. Its roots seem to reach out across all through the pond, but don't seem to delve that deeply into the soil beneath, almost as if it's just sucking up the pond water. And as you stare at it for a moment, it seems that some of these moon blossoms are growing across it. No, that's not quite right. You stare at them for a moment, doing your best to identify them, unsure if you should really be disturbing this pool or not, with another herbalism check.
Yes. 16.
You try to identify them, and you can tell they're different than moon blossoms. But using your herbalism skill, this is an herb that is unknown to you, and you are a rather proficient herbalist, and one that is, you don't feel like you're out of your element too far with your rolls you just had. You feel like you had an average roll and couldn't identify it, which gives you context clues that these are even better than tier 2.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And as you're staring at these pale blue, kind of gem-like flowers, you come finally across to something which you didn't notice at first, and you get a feeling that you weren't really supposed to notice at first, as if it was hiding. A strange and peaceful face.
Hey, 1 second, I gotta grab something.
It's the Blood Raven. Jesus Christ.
The fuck are you on about?
Blood Ravens are something in 40k. I don't know if that's who he's talking about.
Sorry. Oh my god. I went tanning to help clear up my skin when I was in Illinois just one time, And now my back is so itchy after the burn. So I had to go find a fucking
Wait,
back
tanning gets rid of
scratcher.
acne?
It gets rid of like small breakouts. I don't know if it gets rid of like actual acne.
Interesting.
Oh my god. It's mostly like the upper part of my arms because my job is super dirty, so. But sorry, anyways. I went as fast as I could.
Yeah, you look at the tree, and you notice after staring at the tree for a bit that there was something that you thought was hidden or obscured as you looked at the tier 3 flowers, and then you were kind of looking around and your eyes got drawn back to it as you don't know how you missed it, that there's like a carved face.
And you said it looks friendly?
It looks like it's not opened its eyes yet.
Oh, do I think that this thing's alive?
Upon closer inspection, you can see that well, you're not stupid enough to think that anything that's like that carved into a tree is, dead. At the very least, it's probably something to do with the tree.
Okay, I try to start sketching it.
As you're staring at this thing, trying to take in its strange beauty, but at the same time, kind of ethereal nature, as you notice a few times, like when you go to like look down and start sketching, and then you look back up, and your eyes like have to take a moment just to like find the damn face again. It's the exact opposite of the normal problem that people have, where it's it's hard to unsee faces in inanimate objects. This is clearly face-shaped, but it's in a tree, and it's not quite of a normal nature. And despite your lack of artistic ability when it comes to portraits and human proportions, you're pretty good at drawing botanical things and drawing, stuff in margins, but faces and that sort of thing is a whole different skill set for proportionality. You're better than like a 10-year-old, but you're not, you're still like a middle school art student when it comes to portraits, so the proportions are a bit wonky. So you suffice to start doing your best to describe in word, as poetically as you can, what you think of this thing. The facial features are long, like that of an elf, and somewhere between male and female, although if you had to guess, closer to a female. Strangely, protruding from its forehead are horns, and on its top wears a tiara of the moon. The eyes would remain closed this whole time, unmoving face. For a time that you are thinking that it's alive when you first saw it, but as it sits so still, you're not sure anymore. Before you close your book, satisfied that's probably the best take you're going to be able to get out of it. Before you look up at the face again and watch as, well, from somewhere around one of those flowers, those tier 3, assumedly flowers, you see that moth with gossamer wings, once again, take off and approach before landing back on your book.
I like to say something along the lines of like, hi there, Fred. I'm not the greatest artist. I just, it's not very often someone gets to see things like this, and I didn't want to leave here without something to remember it all by.
Just going to point out of character that Cameron's talking to a moth as he says this.
I talk to anything and everything.
As you say this, the moth would once again kind of lazily rear its wings before heading off back towards the pond, where it would land on the edge of one of the rather extravagant, glassy-looking jewel-like flowers, and slowly move its wings. As it does so, you can see pollen, that was unseen to you, get moved across. And strangely, or perhaps unstrangely, depending on your level of expectation, you would see, at first, what you thought was an illusion, as one of the ears twitch on the tree.
I'd like to be like very visibly startled, not like in a fear way, but in a was not expecting that to happen way.
And as you are unexpected it to happen, you can kind of take a step back and look down in a bit of startlement as you can see small ripples forming in the face of the pond. And just when you think that perhaps you've done something weird, although this is certainly a delayed reaction if they didn't want you to do this, the pond would still once again. Before you can see the moth again take off and land towards your book. And as it does so, it would sit there and kind of use its moth legs to clean its wings off. And just in time, as it does so, you can see behind you the large face make a small and polite O and yawn lightly. As it inhales, you can feel the whole place kind of get a rippling wind through it that whistles softly. Before the yawn would exhale, and as it does so, the wind would go out the other way, the tree breathing along with this face.
I'd like to, almost like a kid seeing fireworks for the first time, let out like a very like in awe whoa, like a whispered whoa to myself. And just say, I want to, just in case, like, I think I'm seeing things, I want to, like, rub my eyes or something, and then I want to say, whisper very softly, I'm sorry if I disturbed you. I did not mean to.
The treant would, rather, face in the tree. You're not sure if this is a treant or what the hell the deal is. Maybe magical creatures could lend some sight on it, but this is certainly a unique looking thing, whatever it is. It would sit there, seemingly breathing. And the airflow certainly feels nice, I guess. But you're pretty sure this whole thing was kind of a little bit more inert before you walked in.
Okay, can I roll then?
Yeah,
You said
magical
that's fine.
creatures. You're trying your best to quickly scramble and identify what this thing is.
37.
Again, with the hot roll.
Nice.
As the fact that it's, isn't the tree, and it's merely a face in the tree, and it, your earlier judgment that it was a girl, this is a dryad. Although you've never seen a dryad this enormous, or in such an obviously powerful place. You've heard rumors of great treants and great dryads becoming, like, trees of life and such like that, but that would make this one of the great druid groves then. And that would mean this is at least an elder dryad, if not an elemental spirit. An elder dryad being a particularly powerful dryad, and an elemental spirit being, well, something beyond level 12.
I'd say,
You're dealing with stuff outside of the pay grade of a single person. Don't piss it off,
Yeah.
is what your judgment's telling you.
Yes. I'd like to show, like, some form. I don't know if there's, like, a pleasant greeting that we use in, like, Istebron or something, but maybe a bow or taking a knee and saying, oh, it's very nice to meet you. I've never met anyone like you before.
As you say this, the moth once again would go to do its thing before it would land again on that flower, flap its wings a few times. And as it does so, you can see the treant kind of make microfacial expressions, as if it's understanding or comprehending. You don't know if it speaks your language, and you probably don't speak its. Before the moth would stop flapping and come back to your, book again for a moment. And again, clean its wings. As the dryad, would kind of open its mouth and say something Something
Oh,
which is clearly in Druidic. You don't need to be a master in Druidic to understand that. But the real effect here is that the sprites around her seem to dim or move or jostle, and the plants around her seems to, wrestle in the wind as it does so. Whatever form of Druidic this is, it's probably Druidic in its purest form, and it's difficult, just like all kinds of planar languages, to not feel overwhelmed that this is a language that's not really designed for mortal speak. Perhaps you've heard a druid speak Druidic before, but that's just an imitation of the real deal. As you aren't even quite sure what is being said and what's going on, before you kind of sit there in gaping awe for a moment, the moth would finish rubbing down its, wings, and would suddenly, and perhaps without enough warning, land on your lips. And all at
Yay.
once, the area around you becomes lightened, and you can hear the whispers from the grass, and the whispers of the flowers, and those of the sprites. And, most importantly, that of the Elder Dryad. Before, the Dryad would fall silent again, and the moth would fall from your lips onto your book, clearly dead? At
Dead?
least unmoving.
I'd like to gently try to pet it to see if it moves.
It does not, and as far as you know about moth ecology, they aren't long-lived once they become moths.
I did not know that in real life, so...
They don't have
Nice.
mouths, I don't think. When you see it turn into a moth, it's there to fuck.
Oh, jeez. What are what are mothballs, then?
I don't know enough about moth ecology for that, but I know that they're one of the things that, like, they don't have much time. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you. I just guess I have never thought a single time in my life about a moth on purpose.
Except when you're trying to get them out of your garage. Lamp.
So I'd say oh, I'm sorry, little friend. And I'd like to gently place him or it among the flowers over here. As
As
like
you,
giving it a little burial.
Yeah, as you give it a makeshift grave, to your surprise, you can see a young golden sprite pop out of it, and simply go back to join with the others, as the flowers begin the process of decomposing it.
And then I want to make kind of remark to myself and say,
It's the circle
something
of
about the
life.
circle of life continuing.
Yep, as
And at risk of my safety, I'd like to say a small prayer to the divine for it, even though I know that it's not. That's, it wouldn't have worshipped the divine.
Yep, and as you say your things out loud, you are surprised to hear that you are not speaking common.
Is this like I catch myself like making sounds, but it like when you accidentally speak Spanish or something, and
Yeah, you
Okay.
you are fully speaking and thinking in common, but it's coming out of Spanish, that sort of thing.
okay,
And you can understand it, is the weird part,
Or
too.
maybe some kind of Italian.
gonna say I don't know what the reference is, but I like it.
Family Guy, I assume.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. So I want to say something along the lines of, I want to like keep talking out loud to myself and say like, oh, that doesn't sound like common. And I'd say I want to look back towards the little moth and say, what did you do, little friend?
You would hear that same kind of rustlingness from the center of the island, or rather the center of the tree, center of the pond. As it would say, as I commanded it.
I want to be very surprised and look towards the middle and say, oh, it just like stammer and not really like spit anything out.
The tree's face has not moved since it's been here, aside from those twitches, and even now, as it spoke, it didn't really have its mouth move, as you saw before. It was simply moving the air around, like the entire grove. So it's kind of peculiar talking to a statue face, as it barely moves as it does so. And you're not having any difficulty focusing on the face anymore, like you had before. It kind of blended in with the environment.
Okay, it's very clear to me now.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I can speak your language now.
And I would also like to direct your attention to D&D chat, because there's a cool GIF that goes along with this video. This art, this character art
In Novin chat or our chat?
in Jotun Saga.
Jotun Saga. Oh, it's got the little thing flying around.
Yeah,
Just a nice touch.
Imagine it's a moth.
My dead little friend. Yeah, I would like to be very surprised, but say something along the lines of, I can understand you now.
It would say something to the affirmative and would say, as all life ought to be, connected, although I can only extend so far as this grove for that power.
I'd say I agree. And forgive me if I'm speaking out of line, but your grove seems to have more reach than the average, and I don't know if I've ever stumbled across one that appears out of nowhere. And
you would see the inkling of a frown form at the face, as it would say, it must have been a dream then. If my dreams are echoing so far out. It would trail off in a sentence ending like that. It seems that it is perhaps still sleepy? But apparently its appearance to you was not intentional according to it, at least implying that.
I would like to confirm that and say, or no, I won't say it like that. I'll say, did you? I don't know much about your kind, but I do know that you're of great importance to nature. Is there anything you brought me here to help with? Or was this just a meeting by chance?
Few things, if any, occur by chance. I sense something attuning on you.
I would say, forgive me. I guess I don't feel any different. Is there?
You start checking your inventory.
Okay, I checked my inventory.
You have a book written by a druid about druidic rituals.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Just the in-character, attuning on me? What? Starts reaching around pockets. Oh.
Yeah, and then I would like to pull the book out and say, is this what you're referring to?
As you present the book, the tree would have, again, brief flashes of expression. Its face doesn't seem able to move that well. Its eyes haven't opened, its mouth hasn't really moved, it's just kind of doing twitches, so it's hard to read its expressions, which makes sense mode of a bitch, but thankfully it's, seeming to be, more confused, it's just as confused as you are.
Which is a bad sign for me, because this thing is supposed to be way smarter than I am.
Yes, that would do it. A book written by a druid. One from a grove far away, written in his own hand, by his own inks, by his own flowers. One who worship the moon. Yes, that ought to be it. It would let out a sigh, although somewhere between a sigh and a yawn, as it's clearly still waking up or quite tired. As it would, again, remark, kind of to nobody in particular, but obviously only you here, saying, "And so, my dreams were able to reach you." Yes, this is a hidden grove, a sleeping spot, an incubator for the young. Must have been my sleepiness that allowed somebody unaffiliated to see. Druids ought to be the only ones who could wander into these sorts of places.
It's breathtaking. Are you, once again, forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn, but are you able to tell me more about this book? I came upon it in kind of strange circumstances, and I've tried to study it, and as you know, in your words, I'm unaffiliated, so I've had a lot of trouble understanding, and I was hoping to find someone who could help me.
Whose book, and for what subject?
Are they asking me whose book it is and what
Yes.
subject? Okay, I say I wish I knew. It was handed to me by an interesting gentleman in an alley when I first came upon these lands.
You got a vague synopsis, like a lot of the esoteric subjects were missed, but at some point you did read through the book and it's get the gist of it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't. I must have forgotten about that.
That's how
Okay,
you knew
what-
that you needed to go. You're supposed to go north to learn more about the ritual.
Yeah, okay. Then
If
I
you
would
don't
like
recall
to.
out of character, I'll give you a pass.
Yes, I don't have my notes pulled up from that session, so I forgot. I would like to repeat what I do know.
Yeah, you repeat the basic story that it belonged to a druid who traveled here from Novan,
Oh, okay, yes.
and that he was going to do some sort of rite or ritual somewhere up north in a howling wood of some kind. And as you go on about it, she would take in the story, the vague details you're able to glean, but a lot of the esoteric druidism stuff and the symbology you were, like, lost in. That's where you got lost in the sauce. Like, you can read the basic Elvish, but anytime it went to weird religious subjects, like, you know, it's one thing to be able to understand a language, another thing to be able to read philosophy in that language. A lot more detailed.
Understood.
As she would seemingly make a few expressions here and there, mostly about, affirming that she's listening and understanding. Before you give the spiel in your best synopsis. As she would say, a druid looking to fulfill those rituals. That was a while ago, even by my standards. She would have a kind of wistful look, as far as you can tell, just that pause. Before, she would say, hundreds of years ago, yes, that grove was a place like that. However, now, it has been altered. You might still find interesting elements of the moon there. But no more is the wood there. The wood has been beaten back. The shrine survived. The woods, its grove, did not. Thus, why your kind no longer makes the journey.
What beat the wood back? If you're willing to answer.
Scissors.
Paper, actually.
No, paper's wood.
It's
Scissors
petrified
wins.
wood. So
She would look a bit, wistful and mournful again, which seems to be a common recurring thing when you're talking about things in the ancient past so far.
Yeah.
As she would say, the faith was weak. The great spires that are here are merely the largest extent that were kept safe in my incubator. At one point, the trees stood taller than any of them. One ancient point where the deep woods extended as far north as they are now, until the very ocean. However, change happened. Gradual at first, as your kind and the large kind set about, until the groves split. I, being a young dryad at the time, was set here to secure this last secret grove, where the rest, I could feel, failed their duties, as the deep woods were beat back and back. They're distant now, far enough my roots can't reach, but I can see them, reflected in the moonlight. She would pause before, as if, contemplating whether to say this to you, as you would say, "It is a lonely grove here. One kept only by its secrecy."
I guess I would say I apologize for what my kind and what the giant folk have done. We live much, as you probably know, we live much shorter lives than you, and I think that sometimes we don't care about what we leave behind when we pass on.
The face would not really make much reaction to that, as it seems to be its mind elsewhere, perhaps far in the past. Before it would say, "These woods have been well tended to, I can feel, in recent history. There have been times where things have gotten sour."
When you say... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
The elves must be doing their part of the bargain still.
Okay. I'd say your this is supposed to... Thank you, Austin.
You got it.
You're supposed to be hidden. Does that mean that this is always here and I can't see it? Or is this a different plane? Or how... Forgive my ignorance. This is a little out of my wheelhouse.
Oh. Yes, if you've slipped into my dream. Perhaps this ought to enlighten it. Look up.
I look up.
Yeah, that's not how...
What the fuck? Okay. So what... The picture is pretty, but what's different, I guess, is so that I can point out.
Yeah, you look up and you basically say the same thing in character to her. "I don't understand."
Yeah, uh-oh. Oh no.
Cam, when the music ramps up for no reason. No, wait, now you're actually looking up too. Refer to Baron's chat.
Well, now the music's gone, so I assume it's being changed, which is probably just as bad. I'm like walking on eggshells. I wonder if I'm like frustrating it.
Yeah, as you look up and look at the very beautiful thing that is basically a tree that turns into a bunch of stars.
Oh, okay, so the tree has the stars in it.
Yeah, it turns into stars and has the moon above it. As the spirit would look up with you for the first time, turn their head skyward.
Also trying really hard not to use the words luck or lucky or unlucky.
Is this the right song? It is not. Hold on.
It's cool.
There's a version of the song that doesn't have the hype portion that I just want now.
Oh, okay. So you want like almost like a lullaby type thing.
Cameron Barron's chat.
Is it the same meme? Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel unsupported by my friends right now.
Maybe because you
Friends
walked
you left asleep?
into something potentially weird.
Potentially.
I have fitting music if you cannot find yours.
How does he know what's happening?
Who's that
It's like he's
fucker?
been listening.
I think that got nuked off of my my stuff, so I'll just go with another one that is go with another one that is vaguely the same vibe.
I'd like to hear the other version if you ever find it.
Yeah, it's just the plinky plonk at the start and repeat, and a couple variations of it. As you look up for a moment and see the starry sky spread out before you and the moon above it, as the thing would call out to you, saying, "Between worlds, this is." To you, it must seem strange. Would you like to see more?
I would be honored.
You suddenly feel the moonlight growing stronger around you, as the pond seems to start to shimmer. And suddenly you feel lighter. As you start to feel your feet come off the ground. And you hover above the Dryad's face for a moment. Before ascending higher and higher. That great stream of moonlight in the tree below, carrying you up and up. As you do so, going higher and higher above the tree. A thing that seemed enormously large from the outside. Carrying you up as it does so. And you can see these sprites darting around with you. And you are just so stun-locked by what's going on. You're flying, for one. So, like, this is definitely a dream.
Yep.
As you go higher and higher and higher and higher before you see yourself basically at the clouds, looking over at the giant cloudspire forest, those redwoods, or rather great woods, I guess, in character. And you can see down at the place below the campfire where you guys had set up, where you see yourself passed out asleep, maybe only 100 foot away from camp, and the rabbit who is supposed to be watching you just sleeping there next to you, some friend he is. That's why it was important for Zach to know Cameron just falling the fuck asleep.
Wait, you said that's why it was important for Zach to know Cameron what?
This is to see Cameron, from Zach's perspective, you just flopped over, like unconscious, as soon as you got cool stuff. Welcome to your dream.
Oh no! Oh, no.
So that's a good thing.
As you keep on going higher and higher, until the world itself seems to get small beneath you. Your eyes spanning across all of Ogren, or rather, all of the Jotun Saga lands. Until it becomes so dim and so small Blackness envelops you, and then you look behind yourself and see it. The goddamn moon.
Don't tell me the moon's evil.
As you get closer and closer, higher and higher, until it's all you can see behind you, its brightness. Before, you're coming up to its surface, pockmarked and cratered, where, surprisingly, on the other side of it, you see the face of the Dryad. As you can hear the voice again echo out to you, saying, "Do you understand now? A dream between worlds."
I do. You live here throughout your whole life?
I was once more material, but as I have grown older, my dreams seem to have gotten stronger. The time of this Elder Dryad seems to be coming close to an end, and the well I guard, that holds the moon's tears, may go with it.
Is there anything I can do to help you or find a replacement or anything?
The face on the moon would kind of turn its head down and would say, "Long ago I asked about such a thing. And as I said, this is the loneliest grove. There are no suitable replacements. Once I'm gone, it'll be up to your kind to manage it in kind."
How would I even come back to the grove to check on it?
Oh,
I-
no, I'm referring to the forest in general.
Oh, I'm sorry. I say
She flipped from that.
okay. No, that's my bad.
So, the forest, the magic's fading, basically what she's saying.
If I were to bring more druids to this area, would they be able to preserve it the way you need? I'm less bound to this realm than it seems you are, and I know you have limited time left, but I'd stop and I'd think for a second and I'd say, will you become like them? And I'd motion towards some of the sprites.
Spirits as great as I, who have crossed out from this realm, will not have all of ourselves return in that way. I will produce a sprite, but I will go on elsewhere.
Will you have any recollection of anything you did in this life?
As a sprite, no. But as my greater form in the plane, I might.
I want to nod and just give the appearance of thinking deeply about it.
The druidic life cycle is different than your conception of souls, and as far as you know, it is legit for Fae, and it's contestable to you if it happens to people.
What do you mean by contestable?
The whole judgment process.
Okay.
The metaphysics, the meat and potatoes of what's different between the religions.
Okay.
But for Fae and for angels, it's ironclad. The Fae is not going to get judged according to your stuff. You're not, you know that.
Okay. How much time do you have then?
Perhaps a few generations. Well, of your generations. After that, in time, the magic that makes these trees so wondrous will begin to fade. Slowly at first, but as the ones they plant after they fell some will grow shorter and shorter. The last giants of its kind in the deep woods. This is not a tragedy to befall in your lifetime, nor immediate. As she says this, you can feel the effects of gravity returning as you slowly start making your way back down from high orbit. But still, the voice persists, as it would say. And I am flattered that somebody outside of the Druidic Circle would care so much about it.
it wasn't too long ago that I was lonely myself. I was lived in fear and didn't want to explore the world out of because I didn't want to risk someone discovering what I was. But as I have after I've come here and all the things I've seen, I've grown a much deeper appreciation for the natural world around me. So I may not be a druid in any sense of the word, but I do feel the desire to preserve the things around. And I guess to continue that, I'd like to thank you for showing this all to me. I've recently have faced a lot of hardships, so sometimes it's nice to be reminded of why I continue.
Yes, the beauty that you see in nature can be found in many places. This place, for all of its splendor and dreamlike state, is merely reflection, only one. I'm pleased to see that it's had an effect on you. I do try. However, I don't think our conversation is over quite yet. You are not a druid, but you are still a useful set of hands. And I shall give you counsel, if you are willing to accept it.
I nod. Dutifully.
I feel that something has taken power from this well since I've last seen it. More so than what I'm using to sustain myself in the grove. You look back at the well, at the pond in front of you, and you kind of squish your boots a little bit, before something dawns on you as you look back at the entrance of this place, and why the ground was so wet and squishy still.
The swamp.
It used to be probably this whole chamber filled with water, but over untold centuries been consumed by the roots. You don't know how vast the array of Tier 2 flowers and Tier 3 flowers may have been at the beginnings of this grove. But it must have been staggering. Anyway, side tangent for how big things used to be.
Yep.
The treant would continue and say, I have felt something stealing this water, precious. Not coming in here and stealing it literally, but something sapping it. Perhaps that's also why my dreams were erratic and arousing nearby travelers. Tell me, are you familiar with the moon? Well.
No, I've never heard of it.
She would immediately kind of like, put the well on the end as of like a besides the obvious.
If you are referring to the intricacies of your religion, can I make a roll and then figure out what I know about it?
Sure. That'd be a knowledge religion, just know nothing on it, just +10, or whatever you have.
Yep. 17.
You know vaguely that there are indeed different druidic sects and that the moon is worshipped by one. The exact differences between each sect is a little bit obscure to you, but you're aware that different druids draw different power.
There are only 2 sects.
Male, female, and tree, JP.
Yeah, he forgot the third, idiot. And whatever the fuck Than got, so we'll go with 4.
Fey-induced intersex.
Yeah, I refuse to call. That's what non-binary is. I can't believe there's so many people running around who drank Fey liquid. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you are not terribly familiar, but you know that there's different druids who draw different power, and maybe there's something sapping it, or maybe it could be something more nefarious taking power. I mean, to a certain extent, power is power to people who are dickbags.
Yep.
So no, you don't know a ton about it, but yes, you are familiar with vague enough terms that if you don't want to get the explanation from her from Ground Zero.
So I would tell her all I know, which is kind of a good thing that it's limited, so I don't just go on some long autistic train tangent about something she already knows about before she continues to explain like the finer details.
Yeah, you give the basic overview of Druidism, and
No offense to autistic people or trains.
yeah, you give the basics of Druidism, and she would, nod. Or at least the best equivalent, because she can't really move her face. Once again, lips aren't moving, nose is barely twitching, minor microfacial expressions. It seems her face has been rendered stiff through the ages. As she would say, the moon shines down at night, obviously. However, what is less known is that its power might be collected in these areas, and well up in as moon's tears. These tears are highly desired, as they are incredibly potent. Flashback to the other group, Cameron, where you killed the Great Spirit and you got like a couple of vials of blood of the moon, and there's just like a whole fucking vat of tears of the moon here. So, just a casual thing you can take for lots of money.
Yeah.
As she could say, this precious power could be communed with and taken directly, however, I would notice that. What is happening more than likely is abuses in the name of the moon. I sense something amiss. Craven, no. Transmuting. She would say these words that are vague, with just enough inclination that you're trying to follow along, but nothing's coming to mind.
Yep.
As she's trying to sense something and you're trying to hang on and figure out what she's saying. Before she would say,
This is how most conversations go with you guys, so I'm right in my element.
as she would say, something is stealing the moon's power and diminishing how I can replenish this pool. Before, she would look at you for a moment and say, or rather have a small expression of a gasp, as she would say, the Howlers.
The Howlers. Did I hear about this in the book at all?
Not exactly. It may have been in more esoteric passages.
Okay. So I do not say the Howlers out loud then.
As she would say, the rites in that book. To become purified. If performed incorrectly, will produce something that is a mooch to itself and to the moon. Not her champions, but Howlers.
Oh. Yeah, ruh-roh.
Wait, Tifa, what the fuck do you know?
That sounds like werewolves to me. Out of
Yeah,
character.
it does sound like werewolves, but I want to know how the fuck you would know about D&D or Novan werewolves. Because this is my first time ever hearing about it, so...
One of my characters, I was interested. I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah, we'll see.
As she would say, wherever they are, I can sense them vaguely now, as it is not the full moon. But keep an eye out for those whose form changes. They'll be dangerous as they take some of this power, and dangerous as they will retract the life of the forest, diminishing the nimble balance that has been created.
I'll say I will do whatever I can to stop them. is there any restriction on the way I should deal with them, or should I treat them as a serious threat and use whatever force is necessary?
She would pause and consider for a moment before saying, there may be a way yet to cure them. Collect some of the herbs around here, and I shall instruct you, if you are an alchemist, on how to make something which will cure them. If you do not have that, then unfortunately, there may be only one release.
I am not an alchemist. Is there time to learn?
She would kind of shake her head and say,
No.
perhaps another nearby might then. As well. You would see a couple of moths again flutter about before they would go and pluck one of the tier 3 reagents from her face. And then flap it over to you in your book, where they nimbly set one of these smaller flowers. Small enough, obviously, to fit on a book. As she would say, Moon Widow.
Moon Widow?
She would, yeah,
Okay.
say yes. I would say, this ought to be irresistible bait for them. Should you wish to collect the lot of them on the full moon, merely hold on to it. Otherwise, do not leave this grove with it, as it will be a liability.
I will accept that responsibility. You mentioned a way that maybe we can save them. Should I search out an powerful alchemist? Should I? Or how would you like me to move forward?
Well, technically, you do not need the potion if you are going to use the bait.
Okay.
But if you find a powerful alchemist nearby, perhaps I could instruct them.
Are any of you alchemists?
Yeah, me.
The rhino.
Oh. I would like to say there is a new. Oh, what would I call him? A new member of the team that I travel with, who I believe might be of help to us. Are you willing to pull him in here with us?
Phew. The Elder Dryad would chuckle as she would say, easier said than done, but I shall see if I can tame these wild edges of my dream. Everybody in the camp, roll a will save.
Ow. What's my will?
Cameron's dragging everybody into the Fey realm, guys.
I think it's only a 3.
The rhino resists and just rolls over in his sleep.
No.
Isn't it supposed to be a D20?
It is. It's just funny, but yes.
Okay.
We're-
Oh, so D20? Can I just elect to fail, or am I sleeping so I can't?
You can elect to fail. It's not a character choice, but it is funny that you just.
It is funny that I crit succeeded. Yes, I elect to fail.
Yep, Yaramir's the only one who is not thrown into the dream realm.
What about our 2 buddies?
Do not fall for the lies and deception of Fey bullshit.
Antonio's there too.
Fucking JP hates the face so much his rolls get better when he's rolling against them.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Jesus.
Antonio is in his armor even in dreams. As Zach, your character fell asleep and kind of was in a weird half-dream state, and when you come to, you see yourself having, you and T-Bev aren't really in this stage yet. You are at the entrance to the burrow, where you can see that there's bright moonlight coming through, and just inside, you can see the silhouette of Cameron waving at you, beckoning you. This does not seem like a Fey trap, guys.
It definitely does not seem like a fade trap.
I'm gonna roll a spot check to see if that's actually.
Just imagine if this was a hostile encounter and like how different your characters would be scrutinizing this. So that's the sort of thing of like, does this seem like Fey fuckery to you?
Yeah. I would mention to the two that I think I nodded back off to sleep, but Reiner woke me up and saw this giant Fey thing come up and wanted me to keep an eye out. But I nodded back to sleep. So I think that's him ahead.
We're missing members of the party.
Antonio would look around for Mario and would say, "Oh, this is... I shouldn't have had those drinks before bed."
Stay close.
Here I was going to ask if I could merely guard the entrance. I'll be with you.
We push forward towards what seems to be Cameron.
You push forward as you come through the same thing here, except it's much brighter now with the tree awoken and the moonlight going. As you enter the barrow, going down further and further, and as you get closer and closer to Cameron, the outline of him gets less and less harsh, as you see an area just absolutely bathed in large amounts of moonlight, with beautiful flowers around a central pond, and sprites of all kinds just flying about everywhere, like fireflies. Absolutely breathtaking, dreamlike. There you go. I'm flipping words a lot tonight. As Antonio would, stop and like basically almost drop his sword, but he's too well trained for that. As he would say, "I wish my dreams were this vivid normally. This is cool."
How much does the ground sink beneath my feet?
Probably up to like ankle or mid calf. You've got rhinos have wide feet, so that they don't sink as much as you'd expect.
Yeah.
Do we actually know this is a dream?
Well, it's a little more obvious to you two because you kind of just got jolted to the entrance without remember walking to it.
Gotcha.
I would
Antonio
definitely
seemed to
know
pick
if
up.
I walked somewhere.
Yeah, Antonio picked up pretty quick of like, this definitely is not something he normally dreams of.
Okay.
To him and T-Pab,
Wrongs.
him and T-Pab, this just came out of nowhere. For you, you saw the Fey weird outline in the distance, and then these two are just like, all right, this is a weird fucking dream.
Okay.
Or else you're gonna see, this shit.
I
I would call out to Cameron, say, Raynor, what's happening?
I'd say I looked over and I noticed this grove. And I entered
I'm gonna
it.
stop you right there because you're speaking Druidic to them.
Oh, so
Yeah, I'd like to start like explaining the whole story and not really giving them a chance to like cut me off as I'm trying to speed up to the part that actually matters.
what does
what do
he
you guys
sound
do?
like?
Sounds like random Fey bullshit noises. So a lot of whispering winds and flowers rustling, weird stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
It's a somatic language as much as it is a gestural one.
So he sounds like the wind in the plains right now.
Yeah. As soon as he keeps talking without letting us slow down, I'll just start ignoring him and looking around.
Yeah, the bugs start buzzing around excitedly. The plants at his feet are brushing around, and there's like wind whistling around, and he's like clearly excited and gesticulating with it.
I
like to
can't understand you. I say after he's done.
Can I understand him?
Yep.
I want to like furrow my brow and look confused, and then
we're gonna go back to the other music because we're no longer on the moon.
Yeah. I'd like to realize what's going on, or like that I'm still speaking Fae as I like, check myself before I wreck myself, and then grab what's her mountain shoulder? Some Tarkog, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to grab Tarkog and kind of beckon him forward and point to him and say, "This is the friend I have that you would be looking for, the alchemist."
The tree would seemingly look over to T-Bev's character and appraise them momentarily, which is a little bit it's not like an invasive interrogation of your character, T-Bev. It just, you can definitely tell the tree is judging you, which is
Right. There's a tree looking at me.
yes. Its eyes aren't open, but you can tell its attention's focused on you. The tree is moving, like its face is just turning and facing different things. Before, you can see the thing on its head, the crescent moon, kind of light up for a moment. Before out from it would come a few bugs, moths to your eye, that would go over to the plant and begin kind of frolicking around in it, moving it, rustling, before one of the petals would fall off and would head over towards you with the petal, perhaps beckoning you to go over there. Jesus.
I'm so sorry.
I don't believe it.
It seems to be communicating to you in moths, T-Pev.
Where are the moths? Heading towards me, or does it want me to move towards it?
Yeah, it seems to be holding the petal up towards you and then like goes back off to the flower to indicate you should come here.
Okay. I follow it.
Also, this is T-Pev's character size.
Yes. If Cameron's in the way, I'll do the shove action to push him one tile north.
I love it.
Yeah, as you
No,
go
he
over
won't.
there, as one of the moths with the petal in its hand would make a sudden and abrupt turn as it finishes leading you and just like move itself towards your lips once again, like Cameron's did, which is quick enough that like you're not expecting this to happen. As a moth just kind of pelts you in the face.
Yeah, I don't react.
But suddenly, the rustling of the winds and the grass and the bugs chirping all makes a lot of sense to you now. Leaving Cameron and Antonio just to sit in the corner like, what the fuck is happening?
Wait, me or
Sorry,
Zach.
Not me.
Quaylen and I said I meant Quaylen. I said Cameron for some reason.
we both start with Q's?
Q for Kwanzaa.
Quack.
Anyway, yep. As you start hearing the rustling, make a lot more sense. As the great tree in the middle would start talking at you, it would say, "The flowers around this grove may be used to make a bane of those who are abusing the moon's power. Pick them, and I shall instruct you how to do this."
I would nod and ask how many I should take.
They grow around the edges, and as long as you put them to good use, I would suggest taking them all. I do not know the extent of the corruption.
Oh, all of these at the edge?
Yep, all 14.
Okay.
Holy shit.
You and Cameron go about the business of herbing, because he can herb still.
Yes. There's not a check with this, right? We're doing it slow enough that...
Yep, you're doing it slow enough, and you have the plants actually talking to you, telling you how to do this, so... I mean, at some point...
just like sex.
As I work, I would turn back to her, and I would say, "Is there any way to get plants to always talk to you like this?"
I would suggest becoming a druid. However, some plants, not so knowing of themselves and near a grove, may not understand their own biology. Much the same that I don't expect either of you to be especially competent if you were to get cut open.
Oh, good point.
Maybe
I
for
would
Reiner.
not.
Exactly Reiner, because he's got good heal check. But, for the rest of the party, you aren't...
Isn't my heal check technically 5
you-
with 10 wounds?
Adventurer, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking power gamers.
Reiner's the only one that has surgery level skills, that he could be
Oh,
like...
damn.
Yeah, get fucked, idiot.
Why does he have that?
Because he's got plus 10, he got plus 14.
Is it like... No, I guess I'll rephrase. Does he have like a skill or is it
Yeah,
his
he's
class?
got respite.
Oh.
He's a heal class who is prestige.
Sweet.
So Cameron's got plus 14 to his healing saves, which means he can't fail to resuscitate unless he rolls a 1. And also means that he's pretty damn good at limb damage.
Yeah.
Let's not speak that into existence though, gentlemen.
Challenge accepted.
I
But-
give limb damage. I don't try to take it too often.
But the with the instruction of the plants and the great spirit, and your both sufficient herbating skills, are able to carefully dig out these plants,
I'll dig
collecting
you
them
out.
into a neat pile.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. That one was real. That one, people
one was
actually
like-
say that one.
Yep.
Clayton
I'm
and Antonio
70
are just sitting in the corner wondering why they were brought here.
Yeah,
I hear my phone. I don't know where it is.
I'm
we
75
hear it too.
herb elk, just so you are aware, Josh. I spent 6 skill points.
75.
Well, yeah, because I started with you guys at level 7, remember? And then I spent some points to get it to the next breakpoint. I don't know.
Okay,
if
maybe
that's
I just don't
useful.
understand what I'm at for.
You
You're at
should
60.
be 60.
Oh, okay.
something.
65-ish.
Because I joined late, starting at 7. I start at 70.
Yeah, you're
See,
fine.
JP, the Fey encounters can't all be hostile. They just lead you into fighting a bunch of werewolves.
Nyase wasn't too bad either.
Nyase almost degraced you.
Yeah, but he didn't. Have you thought about that?
Nobody got hurt. It was fine. There is never any danger. There is no chance of you guys getting stuck in the mirror realm and just stuck there forever with that god.
No, instead we got a god and a dagger, and we had to carry a bomb in an airport. It was fun.
Yep, nothing wrong happens with Fey encounters, guys.
Hey, at least this one we get to have fun with the new monster trying to kill werewolves. I guess cure them is what Cam wants to do, though.
Yeah, who needs to? We can just do the encounter, right? Just bait them all and just have a massive slaughter fest.
If we don't get slaughtered, yeah.
I like that. Let's do it.
While I'm
Josh?
gathering a voice out loud, how does this need to be administered?
It'll become a potion or a salve, depending on what you want.
A nod and continue working.
What, Cameron?
I was gonna say you can't let the werewolves kill us because then JP will never stop complaining about the Fae. So just think about that.
JP, I read your note. You've succeeded in your test, so I can't do the thing.
Oh boy.
I don't want to know what the thing is, anyways.
I bet JP has forgotten too. But
JP wants to like start carving in the tree, like his initials or some shit.
so, if we want to do something real quick, JP, if you want to course correct for that, in case you forgot what your request was, we can. But I just want to let you know I didn't forget.
No, that's fine. Didn't happen.
Okay.
Yes, we're all equally as informed on whatever was going on.
Well, this is JP's plot, so I gave him some veto power and stuff.
I'm
Yep.
just here to pick plants.
And he had something to add here, but he passed his check, so it won't happen. Anyway, you guys take your time collecting the plants. As you can see, basically in the meantime, some of the here gets made into the rough outline of a table.
Yep.
as the roots shape up underneath it. And the tree is taking some effort to do this as you guys, it's doing its own thing as you guys are collecting it. Until you come back with bushels of this stuff and place it next to the table. Before, the tree would instruct TPAV of a good way to process this with minimal equipment. A unique way to make Wolfsbane potion. A way which does not even require an alchemy table, should you come across anything sufficient for Wolfsbane potion in the future. A unique alchemy skill.
Yeah, we just have to walk into a very high level hidden grove.
I think he means that I could do this wherever I need to, right?
Yep. She instructs you the way to make Wolfsbane potion without an alchemy table. Which had been... Zach can confirm this. This has been fluffed around a bit with League Quest of having mobile alchemy table stuff, too.
Yeah, we had mobile healing potion.
League Quest?
Quest from, like, 2015. Ask Austin how that did. Anyway.
Why does that... Why do...
The only true party kill that we've ever done.
Why is that not the only time I've heard someone say that?
The side quest where Austin and Zach literally killed each other.
Yep, it was a true party kill.
Combat.
It has never happened before or since.
I forget. Did we kill each other fully? I forget.
So the baddies killed my dog, and I went apeshit and went to kill them, and you tried to be nice and tried to stop me, and we fought each other and killed each other.
Yeah, it was simultaneous. You both lucked or something.
Oh, that's right.
You both dumped 3 or 4 luck, and just instantly instantly stabbed each other in the neck. And then the 2 rogues that were ambushing your party, stand still, we're not gonna kill you. And then you guys just fucking kill each other on the spot, and they're like, what?
Yep. In my defense, Austin lucked to kill me first, so I
Was
tried
there
to
a
stop
bunch
it.
of salt?
Yes.
Was it worse than the time that Austin killed you guys in the undead stuff?
No. No,
I didn't kill us on that one.
That wasn't.
No, that was.
There's so
that
much
was
salt.
that.
There's so
No,
much
that
salt
one-
that
player,
Cameron can't keep it
I
straight.
think that one was the truest. It's what my character would do. There may have been some salt around it, but essentially, Austin went John Wick because the dog died, and he was no John Wick. So they. Just
I was new to
killed each
D&D.
other.
I did not realize it's what my character would do is not a valid excuse for being shitty. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I was still new, so I didn't know what I was doing. I plead that that's my defense.
I think that one, fully leaning into that RP moment, is a little bit different than I steal from the party. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Well, sorry for the sidetrack, everybody.
Yeah, so T-Bev's character learns the unique way in which she can process these things into a salve without even using an alchemy table. This would probably be good for other wolf infestations, although now that you've seen it firsthand, T-Bev, you don't know how you would actually instruct somebody how to do this. This is you gotta be trained by the right thing and be able to talk to the plants to do it kind of thing.
Will I even be able to do this outside of this zone?
With my blessing, she would say. I have imbued
thank
you.
you.
Imbued?
Yeah, she imbued the knowledge into him, basically.
Okay.
He can't teach others, but he can do this. And he can't quite explain why he can do this.
Like how Austin can give him... Never mind.
Oh, no.
No, I was going to say something I remember we were recording, and then I didn't want to finish the statement.
Moving on.
You tell me
then.
after.
Just how Austin can evade his taxes. That's what I was going to say. So if there's any agents, federal level agents listening, that's not a joke.
Yeah, as you guys just watch T-Pev, do this. Before the thought occurs to you, Cameron, isn't this just like a dream or something?
And is that my sign to start waking up?
Yeah, but you're not sure how making potions in a dream will help in real life.
I'm gonna get something physically. That's
Oh.
what you're supposed to be prompted.
Yeah, I would ask where we find them when we wake up.
Wherever they are when you are sleeping. Put them on your person.
Okay. We
When
It's
I'm done,
magic. I
tuck
ain't gotta
them-
explain shit.
yeah, I
when
mean,
tuck
that's
them,
fair.
They're on my belt.
I don't think you should have them out in the open.
I can tuck them into my herb sack. There you go.
Yep.
My herb bag.
The whole time that T-Bev is doing this, the rest of you are mostly silent, as the tree seems to be concentrating. This place is peaceful and restful, but a little bit weird, as Antonio would at one point kind of excuse himself to go the hell back outside, because he's a little bit creeped out by the whole deal of talking trees and all of that. Clayton, for your part, you've just been staring at these people talking to each other and like bush rustling for like 10 minutes. What is Quaylen's vibes with this place?
A little peaceful, but also just like wondering what's going on. So peaceful confusion, kind of.
Meanwhile, Yaramir is just having normal person dreams.
Sleeping very soundly, knowing I'm not dealing with Fey bullshit.
I had a dream.
Regardless of
the
how
other
much
day.
they'd be able to tell you about your bestial claws.
Is that you or your character, JP?
Why not both?
I had a
Don't
dream
worry.
the other day that someone came on my McChicken and tricked me and gave it to me, and I ate it and I tasted it.
Why
So-
did you bring it up again?
So normal
He's really
people
trying to
dreams
process what
can
this thing means.
can sometimes be worse than these dreams. You know what I mean? So
If you keep talking about it, it sounds like you might want someone to actually do that.
I don't. Just to be clear for anybody listening, I don't want that to happen. I do not want you to come on my McChickens.
So is that why Taylor posted that thing yesterday?
No, that was completely not related at all. Somehow, I think.
And then I posted the follow-up thing, which is slightly more related, but holy moly.
Oh my god.
You can't milk those!
I like how that was what broke Tuki's back and he got the fuck out.
Anyways. Oh,
that
that's
was
funny.
that was the straw that broke the camel's back for Tuki. He had seen enough. And Tuki was never seen from again.
He has to be seen again. He's supposed to play Final Fantasy with us now, Josh.
Weren't we already like full with like 2 over top?
Yeah, we're full.
Yeah, I'm gonna
He-
take it like half a raid and quit. So
He also is, well, he's not playing your role, so you can't do that to us. He's also not up to snuff yet, so.
But yes, peaceful, strange, Fae, making potions.
JP, did you generate that?
yes,
You are just abusing this AI art generator.
Dude, it's an evil creation.
JP seems to be using it for for good.
Where'd he post?
Baron's chat.
Barrett's chat.
Oh my god, why do you guys posting fucking... Okay. Oh. Alright, where were we?
Yeah.
So we tuck these into our belts. JP's having normal person dreams.
Yeah, and the tree seemed to be concentrating. Before, it would say, I can feel them faintly. I've been trying to find them. They seem to be in close proximity to each other. Wherever they are, they formed some kind of band. North of here, although I know many of things are.
Are we talking about the werewolves or the plants?
I think she knows what the plants are.
Okay.
Ah, yes, I'm sensing the plants with my eyes.
Is there a way to draw them to us?
Yes, with the stuff we just picked up.
Cameron holds up the fancy weird herb.
Ah,
Moon Widow.
how long until the full moon?
Survival check.
I can't just ask the Fae of the Moon. That seems like a better option to me. Don't
I'll
you
roll
think?
it.
I'm guessing you would probably think of it yourself
I
for
have
like
a
5
10
seconds.
survival.
Yes, you're gonna think of it for 3 seconds and say, "Ah, yes, the next full moon is X," rather than asking them, "When is the full moon?"
Jesus Christ, JP.
No, anytime I'm doing a coding project in C++, I ask if I should do everything in names using namespace.
You're just like,
I just constantly like, hey, do I need to put semicolons at the end of these statements?
Why do you do this to me?
you just T-Pow's character thinks for a moment is like, "Ah, yes, the full moon's like a week away."
Hey, I ran out of ammo. Am I supposed to reload? We just chilling now?
Yes, T-Pow, the next full moon is in about a week away.
Okay.
It's a waning, sorry, not waning, it's a waxing crescent. But you picked up a side quest.
Is our better option to wait for the full moon or try and find them before? I asked the Actually, what is your name?
The carved face would begin speaking. Before you can see it would stop. And it would begin speaking again and saying, "I am the Great Dryad." Oh, I could have swore it started with a C.
The Great Dryad?
It's a crip, actually, so.
I hope the C you're thinking of isn't carved face.
No. She would pause and clearly be distressed by this thought. And would kind of look dismayed a bit, again, in all kind of micro expressions, as she would say. It would appear that my age is stripping more than just my body down. I've heard this is normal for dryads as advanced in age as I am. As our spirit becomes one with nature.
How long is your
ourselves.
lifespan usually?
She would pause the thought she was having before she would say, "Dryads may live as long as the tree they are in. These trees, thankfully, are capable for living several centuries." This particular one that's in this pond used to be as large as the tree on the outside, but now it is small because the pond has shrunk with it. It would do some reckoning in its head before it would say, "Perhaps 10,000 moons?"
More math than I'm willing to do right now.
Yeah, you quickly do that math in your head, Cameron, because a moon cycle is like 28 days. So 28 times 10,000 divided by like 365. This thing's older than the Cataclysm.
Holy shit.
Continuing, I would say, sorry to stress you, Great Dryad.
The Dryad would assure you that it's no problem, but would clearly be still attempting to figure out its own name. As it was probably going to conclude saying that as it becomes one with nature, it loses the sense of self.
Right. I would go back to the original question. Do you think it's better that we try and find them before they transform? Or should we wait for the full moon and bait them?
For your sake, it may be safer to not allow them to siphon more of the moon's power. One more moon will not be the end of me, though. I would not. They would pause before continuing and saying, for my sake and the moon's sake in the pool here, it is slightly better for you to have gotten them before they transform. However, this pool will not dry up from one more moon's suffering.
I do have one question. I would look at Raynor and say, I'm not sure if he brought this up, but what do we do if they've done this on purpose? What stops them from just doing it again?
I suppose some of your kind may be so short-sighted as to do that, but I would hope that most of them are unwilling, or at least uncomfortable with it now. The power of the moon is not something for normal mortals to handle. It will drive them powerful, yes, but also ferocious and without reason. Should they desire to have this, well, it will not matter. After they become feral, they'll be attracted to that flower. If there are some that are not willing to go peaceably and be spared, then the flower may be the only path.
I nod.
They cannot create more of their own outside of the full moon. As long as you do it in the next time, there ought not be any problem. As I warned him, though, if you're not up for the task, then that flower will be potentially your doom. Think carefully before you leave with it in this grove. Accept the werewolf quest, yes, no.
I would like to accept. I don't know where these people...
Yeah, I would say I'm sure our favor will be repaid. We shall take on the burden.
What if this is just like a freeloading dryad?
A freeloading dryad who gave you a bunch of herbs and a tier 3 herb to use for your own sake afterwards. That'd be enough of a reward in itself. You don't comprehend how expensive this is.
I don't know, you're right. I have no idea.
We basically were handed at least 5,000 gold.
Somewhere between 2.5 and 5.
Yeah.
Like literally, it is overpaying you to say, here, use this herb to lure them. We get to keep the herb. How else would you lure them?
Yeah. Can I identify what the tier 3 herb is? Or am I not good enough?
She told you what it is, so it...
Roll for a memory check.
So you can roll your alchemy. You can just roll it anyway, yeah.
I'll need the VOD.
Moon Widow.
Moon Widow.
You don't know what it is used for, aside from luring werewolves, so you could do that. And also, it is a hilarious effect in character that the tier 3 herb Moon Widow, like, just for whatever potion it makes, the side effect is every werewolf will just fucking come at you. Better not hold on to that reagent for long, boys.
Yeah, I'll roll to see what I know of it. That's a 7, right? Because it's divided by 10. Oh, god damn it.
You can, your character can clearly identify that that is a beyond typical caliber herb. You would need to, you've never seen one, so you aren't familiar with it, and your experience in herbing has been, being taught by shamans and older folk. So you are not able to identify what a new unique herb is. That's not in your wheelhouse.
I say mostly self-taught, yeah. So I don't know what the fuck. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, but it's clearly precious enough that you'd feel bad about doing some discovery with it.
I would not discover with it. I would figure out from someone or
As you guys are finishing up here, T-Bev, your potion making is done in dream time, which is rather convenient because 14 potions would normally take 14 times 4 hours. Which is more than a week, isn't it? No, not quite that much, but it's a lot still. 3 days of potion making done in 1 night's sleep. Pretty good. Before, the Elder Dryad would conclude by saying, I wish the moon to shine brightly on your path. Is there anything more you would ask of me? Oh, and I should ask in return that you not tell any others who are not druids or initiated of this place. You are here because of special circumstances.
I would nod.
I promise.
She would look over at the bunny, who clearly doesn't understand anything that's going on, and she would say, and I will trust that you will tell your companions the same.
We will relay the message.
Her offer stands. Is there anything else you wish to ask her? I'm sorry, JP, you are not here.
Is there a way for me to start learning your language while I'm out on my journeys?
Druidic is not a language for the faint of heart. It takes much devotion and much training from a master to a student to learn. I do not believe it is in your path to learn Druidic at this point. It's a hidden language or advanced language.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be locked to druids, more or less.
It was worth a try.
Your tongue may be able to, but I doubt you wielding it would be able to.
Get called out, Cameron.
Yeah, I mean, it is very good at lying. I did not expect her to know about it, but I guess I should figure that she's so powerful that there's no way I was going to be able to keep it a secret. Sorry, I have hiccups.
While you're bored sitting here, JP, you should try to generate a cooler, David vs. Goliath giant art for the D&D group. But we're wrapping up here in this part of it. 2.5 hours of fey fuckery and nobody got killed. It's a new record.
That is
I literally was as careful as I think I possibly could have been.
Surely this won't lower our guard for the future.
Well, she did just give you, a very dangerous quest of kill 14 fucking werewolves or figure out where they are, or else you're going to get swarmed in a week,
But 5,000 gold. Just, let that sink in.
Yeah, that's right. we either have to kill them in 14 days or in a week, or we're gonna get surrounded.
So
We gotta
maybe
figure out what we
JP
do.
has come around to our side now.
So, Yarmir, we're holding the group hostage. Why did you negotiate with Faye?
I don't negotiate with terrorists.
Alright, so, do you have anything else to ask of her? She threw that question out in the open, as you build up good rapport with her, and you're doing her a favor. She's, okay with handing you the stuff she has as rewards and supplies. This is your reward, by the way. She did not talk reward. It's not good to talk reward.
Yep.
But, that just so you don't feel like you're being slighted. The tier 3 herb you get to keep
Yeah,
after you
yeah.
use it to lure.
Which is a big deal, as I've been told this session.
Fat paycheck. Roughly as fat as the paycheck that, what's his name gave you.
The Rock?
Yep. At 4 shares a pop, that's about a grand each.
Sir. I mean, yeah, I'm fine with that. I just think it's cool. So
I just think it's neat, says Cameron. It's like Marge holding a potato.
I like how we talk no jutsu'd our way out of it though. So
There was... She wasn't hostile.
This was
No,
an only
Josh.
pleasant encounter.
I outplayed
You will not
you
use this
with
to
my
engage in more
superior
Fey bullshit in the
politeness.
future. This is not filed as a win you gained. It's a win that was handed to you.
Nope.
And it's not even a win yet because we haven't
Nope.
not died.
See, that's how you see it, but that's not how I see it. And I think that's not how I see it. So
My favorite part about Faye is that we can have a mutually agreed understanding that, you got handed a side quest, and you still come out of it 5 minutes later oh shit, we just signed our own death warrant if we don't do what they say, and they didn't even have to force us to do that. We just agreed.
Here's the thing, I know that it's going to burn me that I just frame one accept Faye invitations all the time. But I think that it is just lame to not do it. So, if my character dies doing something cool, my character dies doing something cool.
Like getting mauled by 14 werewolves.
Yeah, I mean, name one other person in Novan who can say they've done that.
Yeah, you get to the end day, and you decide do you just chuck the flower somewhere and make it somebody else's problem, or...
T-Pass sent me a photo. That's never good.
It's just a One Piece meme.
But yes, if you had no further questions, you would basically just feel yourselves slowly fading in and out of consciousness.
We're falling asleep in the dream.
Your connection to her dream is being a little bit weakened. Just like how Cameron and Antonio and Tarkok, rather, just suddenly just poofed in. You're feeling it more subtly, kind of getting shifted away as the flowers get a little bit less colorful and the sprites get a little bit less vivid. And you frantically scroll through your journal to make sure all your stuff is still there, and you hope that it's there when you wake up, because it'd be cool. It'd be mean if you didn't get all your fancy notes you took.
Yeah, that would be just so sad.
As your connection to her dream seems to go down, as she would begin to yawn and her face would get a little bit less animated, seemingly to go back to sleep to conserve her strength, to keep this grove alive for generations to come. Although, as Rainer noted, it is a little bit sad that there doesn't seem to be much apparently that they can do. The damage is done. This is merely a lowly grove. Perhaps it is good to be a good steward in the future, but he won't be around then. And so, after a rather eventful night, morning comes.
I have a huge erection.
Got wood, I see.
In the game. In Minecraft.
Man, Cameron, I made a better joke than Cameron, he just ignored it.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, you've got wood.
Well, I mean, you got me. I don't know what to say. You've actually found a way to make me not know how to respond. Well played, Josh. Yeah, that's a real award here.
Yeah, you got wood from the Dryad encounter, and you didn't even have to kill the Dryad.
Clap it up. That's going in a D&D Tumblr blog.
Alright, so he was there. Cameron, your character just wakes up in the middle of a field.
Yeah, I mean, this is me this weekend too.
You just woke up in the middle of a field, like looking around. You're at the base of a normal-sized tree, not the enormous one. The rest of the party is fine. Yarmir's sleeping in a tree. Tarkog sleeping in the corner there. And as all of you wake up, except for everybody except Mario and Yarmir are like excitedly waking up at the break of dawn, trying to figure out what was that dream real? Confirming they just had a shared dream. Where the hell is Raynor? Oh, he's just waking up and walking over here. As you check your pockets. And Raynor, you see pages of your journal are written, and you've earned possession of a strangely delicate-looking, glass-like blue flower. It glows palely, even in the sunlight. Almost like moonlight is given off of it. In T-Bav, you find many salves, many bunches of, basically pouches that you threw these salves into. Which smells much the same that you recall that they did in the dream. Salves that were unfilled. Salve bottles and vials that were unfilled as the day before. So, how do you guys want to explain this to Yaramir?
And me.
I mean, Zach, you saw some of it. Yaramir's got, like, nothing.
Yeah, I don't...
That's sick.
I want to pretend, or not pretend, but I want to roleplay it as if, like, I'm not assuming that he doesn't know, because, like, there was so much going on. I wasn't really thinking, like, where's my good buddy Yaramir?
It's
and,
okay.
like,
I
talk about
noticed
this
his
stuff.
absence.
So I wouldn't bring it up until he's like, hey, where the fuck did you get this stuff?
Yeah,
I'm
Yaramir, you're
running
startled
out.
awake by everybody, like, excitedly hollering and, like, pointing out random stuff they got.
I flip over and try to go back to sleep.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep, after Yaramir goes back to sleep and the rest of the party confirms the new stock. Now you gotta explain it to the bunny, he was there, but he didn't hear the plan. Or the fact that you've signed him up to kill 14 werewolves.
Sorry.
I want to call like a team meeting and then start talking about going north to do this, and then just let them be like, hey, what the fuck are you talking about?
You call a team meeting as Mario begins making a fire, and Antonio is trying to explain to him the weird dream that these guys all had, and Mario is like not really buying it at first until he sees that you're serious and like trying to call a meeting for it. And like you're pretty sure he's just giving you professional courtesy of not calling you fucking insane for having this weird thing, because he's not believing it quite yet. Yaramir, they're trying to rouse you from sleep to talk about some weird bullshit.
"18 naked werewolves in the showers."
That's crazy.
Yif Ranch.
That's the first thing he busts out. That's impressive, actually. I wish I was as in tune with my Ram Ranch meme roots.
Yeah, I almost call myself Naruto. Yarmir
Oh
would get up
my god. Believe it.
and be completely confused. Obviously asking for information about what happened last night and what is this about? Fighting werewolves?
I say, yeah, where did you and Quaylen wander off to in there?
I slept like a normal person. What are you talking about?
I say you weren't pulled into the Dryad's dream?
Are you on drugs?
I can't tell you I'm not.
No, but we have
But-
some.
Yeah, but I don't think we were.
Sheeta pulls out that dank dryad kush.
Yeah.
If that's not
Quick,
already a
I need
weed
a rhino
name,
smoking a marijuana cigarette. Go.
There's absolutely got to be some sort of Dryad weed name. No way the weed smokers would ever let that one slide.
I assume your character fills in everyone who was there and wasn't there. What happened?
Yes, the whole story.
Because I entered halfway through, and JP and Mario weren't there at all.
And then
And I didn't
Quaylen probably
understand the word.
chastises me.
Hey. No, I
Um,
don't.
And for
Of
wandering
course, why
off
would
when
he
I'm
yell at
supposed to be
you? He
on
fell
watch.
asleep.
Yeah, yelling at you would make it seem like I
He's
did a terrible job here.
He's covering for himself. Fell
Yeah.
asleep a minute after you woke him up.
If we just
Let's do
actually
the-
wait a day to talk about all this stuff while we think about it, and Quaylen is just talking about how attentive him and I were on watch last night.
Yep.
It's like trying to cover for the fact that he fell asleep.
Oh yeah, that's a bit
He's like,
dangerous. The
"Yeah,
rhino
me
would
and Ryder."
mention that would mean there was no watch at all. No one woke up third or fourth.
Oh, is this just an elaborate ruse for you guys to skip watches? Mario would ask.
No, it really happened, but thank you for the future plan.
So Cameron fills us in on everything.
Yep. I like the whole story, I said. So
Okay.
Including the don't tell anyone.
about the other part, yeah.
I'll give a little bit of a sigh and wow. Sounds like we're probably best off not waiting to do such a thing.
I would turn to the guards and ask, do you know of any possible bandit encampments or anything nearby? I'm not familiar with the area. Yeah, there you go, JP.
Marijuana's bad. Okay.
Yeah, dank weed and dank leaves for tea. Yeah, all about those plants.
Is that a backwoods?
So it wouldn't let me do marijuana, so I had to do homemade cigar.
Yeah, close enough.
But the two guards would look between themselves and think, or rather talk for a moment, as they would say. So the issue is that beyond the borders here, we don't really have jurisdiction, and we just know that this area is rife with random bandits.
Can we see an overmap, Josh, please?
The Dryad vaguely said it's north. The issue
Yeah, it's
is
north. That's
the
kinda
entire
what I'm-
map is north.
Right. So it's definitely just like off the beaten path, right? There's nothing that's super obvious.
But she did say it was one big group of them. And as
It
they,
is where it is.
And they're close enough that they'd be attracted by the leaf.
yeah, but she didn't even give you
On
a
the
max
full
range
road.
of that.
Attracted by the leaf? We talking about Jake or what?
Hey.
Yeah.
It's just catnip for werewolves.
So probably instead of continuing with what we're doing, we probably want to see if we can nip this in the bud before the full moon.
Yeah, search for some human encampment to the north.
Yeah, meaning
Not necessarily, Mario would say. I thought there was rumors of werewolves before you guys even got here.
I would look at him just blankly and say, yes. Explain.
Well, if knowing there's rumors of them is different than knowing where they're at. Maybe somebody
No
around
rumors
here
of where
knows.
they're at.
Maybe somebody around here has got that part. We don't hear everything in the capital, you know. We're just fairly well informed of stuff in our lands when we get to the borders.
When's the next town?
The town we're going for is probably the next big town, Caradron's Outpost. About a day away still.
so we can still go there, rumor
Yeah, we can
monger
head
some,
there first.
For sure.
try and find out where some of these people or werewolves might be at, and
And
probably-
obviously keep up with the investigation with Dismas
Yes.
Manor and that.
yeah, we can probably actually split up to do that once we get to the outpost.
Splitting up has always worked in every form of media ever, so
Yep,
I agree
exactly.
with Zach.
I mean,
Go
we
to
just
outpost
split the
sending it.
party and nothing bad happened.
Yeah, a couple people go.
I'm
check.
using that in the future.
I'll look to the two of them and ask, are you assisting us once we get to the outpost, or once we go to the outpost, you will be leaving us?
Mario would say, we've got a few days of leave afterwards. Maybe enough for us to stay for a couple of days, if you're thinking of heading back rather quickly, or if you needed something for us to tend to you with. But my idea was to simply stay down at the lowest level with the horses in stable and, well, head back after 3 days or so, unless Martin Westmore's got something he needs us to do. We're also going to the Westmore kid, just so we can get some information back to, Larocque and Dismas on his behalf. Not Dismas, Sidon. Out of character, I slipped up.
Someone take JP's AI privileges away. I miss my McChickens, and he's just gonna fucking post that.
Well, I'll tell the two of them that sounds good. I think, yeah, we go to the outpost, we split up a little. One or two of us rumormonger werewolves, one or two of us talk about Dismas, and Westmore's over here too, and we see where that leads us on both fronts.
Alright, JP, I need you to try to use your AI powers to generate 14 gay naked werewolves.
That is absolutely not happening. There's about 3 words in there.
Well, I'm guessing most werewolves are
Try
gonna be
Ram Ranch werewolves.
I got a sensitive content block while I tried that earlier.
Ram Ranch?
Yep.
Oh, damn.
I'm guessing most werewolves will generate naked, so you're fine on that front. You just need to find a byword for gay. I'm sure you can
Naked friendly werewolves.
get friendly cowboy werewolves, yeah. Because then you can, get the Ram Ranch reference, everybody's just making them all cowboys.
In the showers.
There you go, 14 friendly werewolves in a shower in cowboy hats.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever talked about, and that is saying something.
Anyway, I don't have stuff prepped for Caradron's Outpost, so if you guys are cool with it, I would say that you are going to approach, and I'll give you the outline or description of Caradron's Outpost as you get closer to it.
Yep, that
Sure.
works for me.
Alright. The rest of your day is, thank God, not any weirder than it was this morning when you woke up and were told that your dreams are real. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
It's hard to get weirder than that, for sure.
As you move across the land, coming across a few brave merchants traversing between Seafoam and the tributary coast, before you hit the main T intersection here. And that actually seems to be a breakpoint where things become actually busy for Seafoam business. as there's quite a few people going logging, or you see a couple of big logging wagons heading down south, as well as several merchants of furs and hunters and that sort of thing heading up north. The trees, as I mentioned, are still large and they're still, present in this whole grove, but now you've got a greater appreciation for the context of why there is a lonely forest out here, and what forces may actually be driving that. This place has always been a bit of a mystery to the locals, you'd imagine, because, well, it's such a unique such a unique ecology. And with hardly any forest nearby, it's strange to say the least. However, it's been the work of one tireless and lonely dryad. And it makes you appreciate the early summer colors of these trees all the more. Until you come to a hub of activity. A place where you can see many wagons lined up, and several great lifts going up and down carrying cargo from these wagons, up into the boughs of these trees. And as you look around for houses or structures, you see none, surprisingly, or very few. Maybe a few stables that were built out. And then you see the trees hollowed, or shaped, or dead wood put up propped against it. To Cameron, who just came from the Elvish lands in Wostead, this style of building is somewhat familiar to him, the highly reusive nature of elves building into trees and cutting things out and hollowing. But to everybody else, this, harmony with nature is unique, as there's just as many trees in this area that are hollowed out, and you hardly even could recognize it except for, the giant crowd of people out, as these trees being anything different than all the trees from the surrounding forest. However, as you look up, you can see great stairs carved up around it, and great treetop walkways built up high, some of which are more reinforced and more secured, with the lifts that are going up and down, and one tree in the middle being exceptionally well built and large, perhaps probably ancient as well. And that is where we'll end our adventure for the night, as you guys approach this great city and are trying to figure out ways up. And T-Pav, you are fairly certain that Tarkog's only way up may be on a lift.
Oh, so he's actually going to be able to join us.
At least for the cargo areas. He's classified as a light truck, not as a person.
Fair enough.
Oh, he's just a Ford Ranger.
He weighs more than most light-duty trucks. So anywhere you couldn't drive a truck, you can't take your Rhino, is the rule of thumb.
Which I imagine is a lot more places than we would expect.
When you're going into a town that is in treetops, yes, I would assume so.
Yeah, he's not going to be in the residential areas. Thankfully, there is some justification for, these people live near giants and interact with them, so there's got to be at least some areas that can hold giants. So he's not totally SOL, but, he's not going to get full reign like the rest of the party could. Not that you guys really make a habit of visiting residential districts that often.
Yeah.
Also, just make sure you sell that plant right away. You gotta get your returns.
Yeah, instantly. We don't want to give it time for the market to shift.
Gotta strike while the iron's hot, and hope that somebody else doesn't notice the 14 werewolves.
Especially 18 happy, showering cowboy werewolves.
Yeah, did you put the word friendly in there, JP?
Yes. That just gave me cowboy werewolves playing cards.
Yeah, they're playing cards. For sure.
Go fish.
In my rectum.
I'm still recording, by the way.
Hi, Mom.
If your mom gets to fucking episode 20 of Jotun Saga.
Jotun Saga.
She's got other things to work
Gonna see some serious shit.
Guys, you spend maybe a couple hours a day with me. She has seen me a lot more over the last 28 years. You think that I just became like this out of nowhere. In the words of Lady Gaga, I was born this way.
All right. Does anybody have anything else to say? More descriptions, more questions, more anything else before I end session?
Yes.
No, I'm glad I didn't kill me or them or us yet. You know, we'll have to
Always next
see.
session.
You're gonna say something, JP?
Fuck TPF.
Fuck TPAP. Yeah, we didn't start the session with